So, and then some people point to the salary increase pension in the McGreevey era, the pension increase.
I don't know that it was the salary increase.
DeFrancesco year.
Well, I don't know that it was a salary increase because, again, don't forget, employees pay their share.
Right.
And yeah, there's certainly an increase in the pension contribution from the employer situation based on salaries. But by the same token, there was, according to the figures that I have seen during the McGreevey administration, if you take a look at all of the various government employers around the state, there was an increase of 10,000 employees during that period.
In state government?
State and local.
Yeah, in the pension system.
So there were a number of factors that went into contributing to the problem that they currently have. But frankly, what it boils down to is if they had started making the contributions when they should have, I think the picture would be a whole lot different now.
To ask an impossible question of what would have happened if there'd been a second Florio term, because accounting's one of the maybe few dwindling number of professions that you don't think of as being a Democratic wing and a Republican wing. And so presumably a second Florio term would not have rolled back part of their tax increase that they put in place. But you think, knowing the professionals in the state at that point, that the same kind of advice would have gone to the Florio administration?
In terms of the pension?
Yeah.
That's an interesting question. And tough to answer,
Sure.
because obviously there were different perspectives. If you compare the Florio administration to the Whitman administration, there were in fact different perspectives to it.
But everybody wanted to fully fund wanted the pension system to be intact, for the future.
Yeah, and again, the Florio administration didn't have some of the same difficulties because, again, GASB wasn't coming out with a new regulation that said you got to move these things up to the long-term debt line.
Right.
There hadn't been as long of a run-up in the stock market at that point, so that the value of the portfolio was not as large, so there wasn't as much of what they call excess assets. And again, that's another reason that this is so difficult to explain, is that you can't get through it without using terminology that three people on Earth understand.
Right.
So now I don't know. It's tough to answer whether or not they would have been given the same advice. And had they even been given the advice, it's tough to understand or know whether they would have taken the advice.
Right.
As long as we're doing impossible counterfactuals, do you think, what difference would it have made if Governor Whitman had stayed to complete her second term instead of, did that year make a difference, or you seem to be saying that it was a longer term decision that perhaps it wouldn't have made such a difference?
Yeah, I don't know that certainly most of the things that Governor Whitman focused on were, in fact, longer term ideas and, turning the ship, which obviously takes time and distance. And so, I don't want to say it wouldn't have made any difference. Don't forget, in the meantime, when Governor Whitman left office, it wasn't too long after that we had September 11th, and the state's economy really took a hit. So there were a number of outside factors that I'm not sure how that would have influenced. I can't say enough nice things about Governor Whitman, but because she was always so good to me. But and I agreed with just about all of her policy decisions. We used to laugh because we would argue sometimes, but But I think the state, if you look at her overall record, I think the state was in much better shape fiscally when she left office than when she came into office.